Commander Lee, a diplomatic officer aboard the Earth vessel Horizon, watched through the viewport as they approached the Varalian homeworld. The swirling purple atmosphere parted to reveal sprawling cities built into massive cliff faces. "Final. Approach, Commander," said the pilot. "The Varalian High Council awaits." Lee nodded, straightening his uniform. Humanity's first diplomatic mission to the avian-like Varalians carried immense responsibility. Intelligence suggested they possessed advanced bioengineering technology that could revolutionize medicine back on Earth. The landing was smooth, and Lee stepped onto alien soil with practiced confidence. The Varalians stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent feather-like appendages and sharp, intelligent eyes. Their leader, Cav, stepped forward with a clicking sound from his throat. "Welcome, human diplomat. Your journey across the stars honors us." Through the translator, Lee replied, "The honor is ours. Earth looks forward to peaceful relations between our worlds." Over the next 3 days, Lee demonstrated remarkable adaptability during the cultural exchange. He mastered their formal dining rituals, learned basic phrases in their complex language, and showed impressive strength during a ceremonial hunt, despite Earth's heavier gravity, giving him an unexpected advantage. What Lee didn't notice were the whispered conversations among the Varalian leadership. Their species faced a genetic crisis. Inbreeding among their ruling caste had led to declining birth rates and genetic defects, and this human's performance had captured their attention. On the 4th day, Cav approached Lee with unusual formality. "We invite you to participate in our sacred trials of succession. This would cement relations between our worlds." Lee smiled, believing this to be a diplomatic formality. "I would be honored to participate in your tradition." Only later did he learn what he had actually agreed to. Kim, the xenobiologist, nodded grimly. "According to our latest translations, the trials of succession determine who earns genetic dominance among their leadership caste. The winner mates with the eligible females." Lee paced the small chamber. "And I've already formally accepted. If I back out now—" "Interstellar diplomatic incident," Kim confirmed. "They'd consider it a grave insult to their most sacred tradition." Varalian attendant entered, bowing deeply. "The first trial begins at dawn. The other 7 competitors await." The competition area resembled an ancient coliseum. 7 male Varalians, their plumage displayed in aggressive patterns, turned to glare at Lee as he entered. One stepped forward, his feathers bristling. "This mockery violates our sacred ways. An alien cannot compete for our genetic future." An elder Varalian silenced him. "Tav, he has been invited by the council and has accepted according to ancient law. The trials will proceed." The first challenge tested physical endurance, a race across shifting terrain under their harsh sun. Lee's denser muscle structure, evolved under Earth's stronger gravity, gave him unexpected stamina. While the Varalians were initially faster with their lighter bones, they tired more quickly. Lee finished 3rd, shocking the audience into silence. That night, he noticed several female Varalians observing him from a private viewing area, their expressions unreadable, but intensely curious. The second trial, underwater navigation, proved even more surprising. The Varalians, with air sac respiratory systems, struggled while Lee's mammalian diving reflexes allowed him to excel. He emerged victorious, earning murderous glares from the other competitors. "The human continues to the 3rd trial," announced the elder amid angry clicks and whistles from the crowd. Back in his quarters, Lee received an unexpected visitor, a young male Varalian named Din. "Not all of us oppose your participation," Din said quietly. "Our species faces extinction without new genetic material. I cannot win, but perhaps you can. I will help you understand our ways." The following days brought increasingly difficult challenges. A test of thermal endurance proved difficult for Lee's mammalian body compared to the Varalians' insulated systems, but he managed to place 4th. The puzzle-solving trial, however, demonstrated human creativity that left the rule-bound Varalians struggling. "Humans have an unusual way of seeing connections," Din explained during their clandestine meetings. "Our people follow patterns established over millennia. You create new patterns, After each trial, Lee noticed more female Varalians watching him with evident interest. One in particular, Nara, seemed to evaluate his every move. Meanwhile, Earth's diplomatic corps had discovered the true nature of the competition. Lee's communication device buzzed with an urgent message from Admiral Park. "Continue the competition, Commander. This could be the diplomatic opportunity of the century. Their females control their biotechnology advancements. Winning their favor could give humanity access to medical breakthroughs beyond our capabilities." The fifth trial, aerial navigation using flight suits, seemed designed to eliminate Lee. The Varalians, with their evolutionary understanding of air currents, moved with graceful efficiency. Yet Lee's intensive pilot training allowed him to compensate with technical precision. "The human advances to the final trials," announced the Elder, amid a mixture of outraged clicks and interested murmurs. That night, Nara approached him directly. "Your performance intrigues us. Our species faces challenges you may not understand." "Genetic bottlenecking," Lee replied. "Your ruling caste has become too insular." Nara's feathers rippled in surprise. "You understand more than you reveal, human. The final trial approaches. The males may attempt to sabotage you now that you present a genuine threat." Only 3 competitors remained: Lee, the aggressive Tav, and a cunning strategist named Ren. The physical challenges had eliminated the others. Now came the true test: leadership philosophy and crisis management. The 3 finalists stood before the council and a gathering of eligible females. The Elder spoke solemnly. "You will each face the simulation of catastrophe. Your decisions will determine the survival of our species." Each competitor entered a virtual reality chamber. Lee found himself facing a simulated ecological collapse, resource wars, and the potential extinction of the Varalian species. Rather than following the traditional hierarchical approaches, Lee implemented cooperative strategies, sacrificed traditional privileges of the ruling caste, and focused on innovation rather than preservation of the old ways. When he emerged, the female Varalians were chittering excitedly amongst themselves. The votes were tallied in tense silence. Ren placed third. Tav, representing the traditional approach, seemed confident of victory. "The results are unprecedented," announced the Elder, voice trembling. "The human Lee has demonstrated superior adaptive thinking and sustainable leadership approaches." Tav leapt to his feet, feathers fully extended in rage. "This is sacrilege. An alien cannot lead our genetic future." The chamber erupted in angry debate. Lee stood silently, suddenly understanding the full implications of his victory and the diplomatic catastrophe it might create. When the chamber finally quieted, Lee stepped forward and raised his hand to speak. "Honored Council, eligible females. Of the Varalian leadership caste, I am deeply humbled by this judgment." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "However, I must respectfully decline the traditional outcome of these trials." Gasps and confused clicking filled the chamber. "Humans do not practice such mating arrangements. Our species' approaches to genetic diversity differ from yours, but perhaps there is another way to interpret your ancient laws." Lee looked directly at Nara. "I propose instead a genetic exchange program, a scientific and medical alliance that would help solve your diversity challenges while respecting both our customs." Lee outlined a proposal where Earth would provide genetic research assistance and voluntary genetic material through medical procedures, while gaining access to Varalian biotechnology. The male counselors seemed skeptical, but the females, led by Nara, moved into a tight circle of discussion. After intense deliberation, Nara stepped forward. "The human solution honors the spirit of our traditions while offering a new path forward. This is why he won the trials, not strength alone, but wisdom." She turned to the council. "We support this arrangement." The Elder, after a long moment, nodded slowly. "Then it shall be so. Commander Lee will be named Honorary Prime Geneticist, a new position that fulfills our laws while respecting both our ways." 3 months later, Lee stood beside Nara in the newly constructed Human Varalian Genetic Research Center. Scientists from both species worked side by side, already making breakthroughs in treating genetic disorders. Your solution saved both our peoples from embarrassment, Nara said, her feathers shifting in what Lee now recognized as amusement. And potentially saved your life. Tav was planning to challenge you to traditional combat had you claimed the traditional prize, Lee laughed. Diplomacy is about finding the third option when two cultures clash. Your females saw that immediately. This alliance will strengthen both our species, Nara agreed. Though I must admit many of my sisters were quite disappointed by your traditional refusal. Human genetics remain intriguing to us. Lee cleared his throat awkwardly as they continued their tour of the facility, where the future of both species grew brighter through understanding and cooperation rather than competition. Lee stood before the Varalian Council chamber, acutely aware of all eyes upon him. The air felt heavy with tension after the announcement of his unexpected victory in the trials. Angry clicks and hisses came from Tav and his supporters, while the female Varalians watched with intense curiosity. Honored Council, Lee began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. I am grateful for this judgment. However, I must respectfully decline the traditional outcome of these trials. The chamber erupted in confused sounds. The translator struggled to keep up with the overlapping Varalian voices. The elder raised his staff, bringing silence back to the room. Explain yourself, human, the elder said. Lee nodded. Humans approach mating and genetics differently than Varalians. We value choice and compatibility, but I see a better path forward that honors the spirit of your traditions while respecting both our ways. He moved to the center of the chamber, activating his tablet to display genetic models in the air. Your species faces a genetic bottleneck. Your ruling caste needs fresh genetic material. Instead of the traditional arrangement, I propose a medical and scientific alliance. The image is shifted to show medical facilities and research stations. Earth can provide voluntary genetic donations through medical procedures. Our scientists can work with yours on genetic diversity solutions. In return, we learn from your advanced biotechnology. Both our species benefit without violating our cultural values. Murmurs filled the chamber. The male counselors seemed skeptical, but many of the females showed signs of interest. Nara, who had watched Lee throughout the trials, stepped forward from the female viewing area. The human speaks wisdom, she said. Her voice carried authority that surprised Lee. Our traditions exist to ensure our survival and prosperity. If they cannot adapt, they become chains rather than wings. Tav pushed to the front. This is cowardice. He wins our most sacred trial, then refuses his duty? This proves humans are weak. Is it weak to find a solution that helps both sides? Nara challenged. Or is it weak to cling to old ways even when they fail us? The females gathered in a tight circle, their whispers too quick for the translator. Lee stood patiently, knowing this moment would shape relations between their worlds. For generations. After what felt like hours, the circle broke. Nara approached the center of the chamber. We have decided, she announced. The females of the leadership caste support Lee's proposal. Our scientists confirm his genetic models show promise. This new path may save our bloodlines. The elder looked troubled. Our laws are clear about the rights of the victor. Our laws are clear about the purpose of the trials, Nara countered, to secure the best future for our species. This alliance offers a better future than any single mating could provide. After a long pause, the elder nodded slowly. The wisdom of our females has guided us through many crises. If this is their judgment, I will honor it. He turned to Lee. You will not claim the traditional prize. Instead, you will be named Honorary Prime Geneticist, a new position created for this alliance. Tav's feathers bristled in anger. This dishonors our ancestors. Our ancestors would want us to survive, the elder replied firmly. The human has won fairly and chosen mercy over power. That shows true leadership. 2 months later, Lee walked through the newly built Human Varalian Genetic Research Center. Earth doctors worked alongside Varalian geneticists. Already they had developed treatments for 3 genetic disorders common in the Varalian leadership caste. Nara joined him on his inspection tour. Your solution was unexpected but effective, she said. Our birth rates are improving already and genetic defects have decreased by 12%. Lee smiled. And Earth has gained new treatments for several human diseases using your biotechnology. Both sides won. They stopped at a window overlooking a garden where humans and Viralians sat together sharing a meal. You know, Nara said with a hint of amusement in her voice. Tav was planning to challenge you to ritual combat had you claimed the traditional victory prize. Then I'm doubly glad I found another way, Lee laughed. Though I suspect Earth's lower gravity might have given me an edge there too. Nara's feathers rippled in what Lee now recognized as their version of laughter. Perhaps, but now we need not find out. She grew more serious. Many females were disappointed by your refusal, you know. Human genetics remain fascinating to us. Your adaptability, your problem-solving approach, these are traits our species needs. Lee felt his face warm. The medical procedures will provide all the genetic material your scientists need. Of course, Nara said, though I must tell you that 3 females have asked if you might consider more traditional arrangements on an individual basis, without the ritual obligations. Lee nearly stumbled. I would need to consult with Earth's diplomatic corps on that matter. Take your time, Nara said, her eyes twinkling with amusement. We Viralians live very long lives. As they continued their tour, Lee composed a very carefully worded message to Admiral Park in his head. Some aspects of interspecies diplomacy were definitely not covered in his training. Outside the research center, the first group of human scientists arrived for the exchange program. Soon, medical breakthroughs would benefit both worlds. The Viralian genetic crisis would end not through ancient ritual, but through cooperation and shared knowledge. And Lee found himself thinking that sometimes winning meant finding a way for everyone to succeed together. That was a lesson worth bringing back to Earth.